Rogers. Hi, it's Bob Pickett. Well, thanks for visiting with us today.
I appreciate you coming out. You know, these are fun for me. I enjoy doing them, the book signings, because you do get a chance to meet a bunch of people that you don't. I do meet and greets at my shows and probably have 50 people a night, but it's just nice to get out in the public.
Now, what we're talking about, you've had quite a year. You've released your first novel. Here it is right here.
Well, it's actually, in all fairness, this was a story that I had that I was going to do as a gambler movie, the sixth gambler movie, where the gambler was going to create a new poker game. And then I found out that Texas Hold'em was done in 75, so that would have made the gambler about 120 maybe, I don't know. So we decided to, so I was going to actually kind of throw the idea away, and I was talking to my book agent with William Morrison. He said, oh, I've got a guy who's from Texas and knows all about this. Why don't we let him do this and we'll wrap it around Texas Hold'em? So that's where the idea came from.
Well,
and Mike Blakely, he and I would exchange ideas, and he'd say, all right, I'm stuck. Where do I go from here? And I'd say, let's turn this corner and see where it leads us. And it was just a great combination.
Can I read the book? Any chance it's may turn into a movie later on?
Well, there's a lot of talk about that. It's worth it. It's a great read, and the ending is a total surprise. So
really, I mean, just I don't look.
Yeah,
right
look at the ending.
No.
Just read the last 2 pages.
It's been quite a year because earlier this year you released your memoir.
Yeah.
Luck or something like it. Only got one complaint about that. It's just too short.
No, it's not. Believe me, I wrote every word in that one because I had a girl who was going to write it for me, and then she got stage 4 breast cancer and passed away.
Right, Patsy.
So Patsy, and so I ended up taking the stories back and writing them. I loved her writing, but she didn't write in my voice. You know, she would say dad where I would say my dad, little things that are indicative of a person personally writing. So I took it back, and they said, I didn't know where to start. Because, you know, when you live in the fast lane, as I have, you don't take notes. So there was so much of that stuff I didn't even remember. And the guys in the band said, look, start with the moment. Start with the first time you met Dolly. Start with recording Islands in the Stream. Not necessarily in any order. Start with We Are the World. Start with so I took moments of my life, and the next thing you know, it starts dovetailing together. And it was great fun for me to kind of relive those experiences.
Well, we want volume 2 out. We want more of those experiences.
Okay, good.
But also, you know, one of the biggest highlights this year, inducted in the Country Music Hall of Fame, which will happen, I guess, in just a few weeks.
In November,
right?
I think, yeah.
Wow, what an honor.
It is, you know, and it was kind of a shock because I get this phone call at home one day, and nobody has my phone number. I get this phone call at home, and it says he's Steve Moore. And I said, boy, I know that name from somewhere. I said, Steve, where do I know you from? He said, well, I'm the president of the Country Music Hall of Fame. And I thought they were going to like take my photographs, and they did it once before. They exhibit my photographs. And he said, no, I just want you to know you're being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. And, you know, thank you didn't seem like near enough. And I didn't know how to answer that. And I said, well, I want you to know I really appreciate it. I felt so stupid. Everything I said felt so insignificant to being in the Hall of Fame. And I'm really, honestly so glad it happened now. Because if it had happened at the peak of my career, I could have possibly not given it the appreciation that it deserves. But now I really appreciate it. And I have identical twin boys that are 9 years old. And I have 2 older boys. And we're all going to go in for the ceremony.
That's going to be a very special,
they're
special
excited.
night.
And my wife also. I always forget to mention her. I do that but once.
Well, not only does Kenny have the new book, but you've got a brand new album, which you're reuniting with Dolly. It's the 30th anniversary of Islands in the Stream. You guys are back together.
And it's a great song. It's an interesting story how it came about. I was in a place called Stagecoach in Southern California, a big country music festival.
Right.
And I'm sitting backstage, and this guy comes in to me. He's really a kid. He's 30-something, and he said, "Hey, Kenny, I want to tell you, I'm Ryan King. I'm William King from the Commodore's son."
Wow.
And he said, "I want to tell you that the other day I was meeting with some friends of mine, and I was telling them, and I realized that some of my favorite childhood memories are when we came to my place in Athens, Georgia, and I used to ride golf carts and go-karts with your son, Chris." And he said, I was telling him at the time, you know, you can't make old friends. You either have them or you don't. And I thought, what a great title for a song. So the next night, I'm in New York City with Don Schlitz, who's being inducted into Songwriters Hall of Fame. And I tell him this story, and he said, "Oh, can I write that? Can I take a shot at that?" And I said, "Well, sure." The next day, he sent me this song.
Well, Schlitz is the one that wrote The Gambler, by the way.
Yeah, and
So-
also The Greatest.
Right.
And also 2 songs off the new album. He can't write.
He's got a better career.
Writers do write.
So the new album comes out when?
I think it comes out next week.
Okay.
But it's the most versatile, variable album I have ever done. There's
Wow.
some really cool stuff on it.
If you're a Kenny Rogers fan, pick it up and also pick up the novel right here, okay? Hall of Famer. I love saying that. Mr. Kenny Rogers.
So do I. I'm not yet, though.
Will be great.